So, climate change affects all aspects of the water cycle, and those aspects that it affects are the clouds, precipitation patterns, the stream flow patterns, and the water vapor concentrations. So, because of climate change, more big and intense storms are going to occur because of the amount of water vapor that can be held in the atmosphere, and the increasing temperatures. So, the excess runoff water that is in that comes when the rain comes down that does not absorb into the ground or go somewhere else, not as runoff. It collects fertilizer, sediments, and bacteria as it flows down and goes into a natural water supply, such as like a river, and then it flows into a lake or an ocean, which can be water supplies for drinkable water for humans. And this water that is polluted goes into the ocean and pollutes the water that's drinkable for humans, which is a rapid growing algae and pollutes the water for both humans and the fish, and it decreases the amount of oxygen in the water because it blocks the sunlight off. And filtering the algae out is very costly, so it's hard to do to make it drinkable water. And during the prime algae bloom period, so like when the algae is most likely, what season it's most likely to bloom in, a lot of local water supplies shut down, so it's hard to get a reliable drinking source. Another factor is when glaciers melt due to the rising ocean temperatures. The salt water from them flows into fresh water, which humans drink, causing it to become very salinated, and we can't drink that. And desalinating the water is really expensive. It takes a long time. There's not a lot of places that do that as of right now. And then one more factor is as the snow that we get in the winter melts, the snow turns into water, and this water from the snow adds more water to natural water sources that we can use to drink. However, as the air gradually gets warmer, there's less snow in the winter and more rain, and then the rain doesn't really store in the water, so it lessens the amount of water stored for the spring and summer, which is when humans need extra water more because it's a more common drought. And
Background continued. Capturing and reusing rainwater conserves fresh water supplies and can save money on utilities. Rainwater stored in rain barrels used over time does not run off, which prevents erosion and pollution and improves water quality in nearby bodies of water. Conserving water can also extend the life of your septic system by reducing soil saturation and reducing pollution due to leaks. Rain barrels can reduce the amount of water demand in drier seasons. Compared to other rain barrels, our filter system cleans the water in a fast, inexpensive, and efficient way. This can prevent water shortages.
Ethics and environment. Environmental background and impact. Rainwater is plentiful, and it is also very beneficial to both humans and plants. While humans cannot directly drink rainwater because of contamination, they can drink it if it's been filtered. Rainwater, while it may seem pure, is actually contaminated from air contaminants such as fossil fuels and other greenhouse gases that have infused themselves into the rain particles, and also runoff, when water is collected from running off of roofs or off of drainage pipes. So water has a lot of harmful ingredients in it, but all these can be filtered out. Another point is that rainwater itself does not contain minerals necessary for some people's livelihood. In places such as desert places or places where people do not have the same access to water, this rainwater filtration system may not be enough. People in those areas need to get these minerals that rainwater itself does not contain. That is a slight ethical problem with this design. While environmental impact and background is important, there are also ethical implications to this design. Rain has a pH in between 4.35 and 6.96. This is considered acidic. Air contaminations can cause rainwater to become more acidic and also adds heavy metals such as lead into the rainwater. This can potentially be harmful to humans. The mollusk shell design is made out of mollusk shells and sand. Mollusk shells contain calcium carbonate, which can get rid of the pH, making water acidic. Therefore, using calcium carbonate from the mollusk shells, water becomes neutral. By doing this, the metal is able to be absorbed into the sand around it, therefore eliminating the harmful effects of the rainwater on humans.
In this design project, Group A started with an idea to prevent climate change starting in a city. We researched possible existing solutions such as alternative fuels, clean buildings, and even electric transportation. Then we realized that there was something priceless at stake with climate change: water. Our group began to understand that it is possible that we may not have drinkable water in the future, and decided to run with that as our issue. We stuck to mostly .gov websites and used average numbers from well-known businesses. We made sure to find pros and cons of our findings and make our design as safe and as accessible as possible.
Our design is a rain barrel, but on a larger scale and with a water recycling component. The water is collected on the top of the building and transferred to a tank above or below the ground. During the transfer process, the water is purified through a system of filters. One of these filters is called a mollusk sand filter. The water collected travels through sand as well as crushed mollusk shell, containing calcium carbonate. The sand and shell compound filters out both the larger particles as well as the heavy metals and other damaging and corrosive materials.
Filtered out by gravity-fed particle filter. On top of this, the piping and interior of the tank will be made from copper, which is not only antibacterial but also strong and reliable.
Included with this is a collection system made up by a series of large funnels that all come together into one pipe that leads into the tank. On top of this, the pipes are insulated by an exterior of building insulation and PVC piping. As the tank fills up with rainwater, the water level reaches a point where a pump pushes it into the regular flow of water from the normal source, being the water plant. This is then pumped through the building, bring used for anything.
Group A's design is an effective, efficient, and cheap way to collect and recycle rainwater. While most households and businesses spend hundreds or even thousands on water every year, our system will completely remove you from the grid. If you wanted to find how much rain we could capture from a single building, we would multiply the product of the length and width of the roof and and by the rainfall for a month in that location, unit converting along the way. In New York, the average month-per-month rainfall is just around 4 inches. So if we have a 45 by 45 roof size building in New York, it would receive around 100,000 inches cubed of water. This means that you could collect 21,000 gallons per day on average of water. If this building was a small restaurant, it could use up to 25,000 gallons of water a day. With our forecasted 21,000 gallon per day gain, this business is replacing 84% of their water with recycled rainwater. If a restaurant spends $9,000 on water a year, our proposed design could save them $76.50 on water.
This design will be able to be sustainable, affordable, and durable. With the proposed design, we can help conserve our most needed resource and will be attractive to the customer, which will allow this design to profit and help the world keep its drinking water. The design requires little maintenance, which will help them be able to save money and time. People will save thousands of dollars using our plan. The prediction is that you will be able to save money from being able to use the water that is coming from the environment. This will also help the environment around you because it can decrease the amount of runoff, which will let the water be able to seep back into the ground slowly, and that will lead to less pollution in bodies of water, which will also help conserve those same bodies of water.
So our first source that we evaluated was from the Climate Reality Project, and we thought this was a reliable source and a very valuable source because it explains everything in detail that we needed, and it has diagrams and it has links that where they got this information from, It includes like helpful diagrams, pictures, everything is explained. It's produced by the Climate Reality Project, and the authors of this site and of the Climate Reality Project are experts on the subject. So we know that the information we're getting is going to be reliable and accurate. There's no contradictory opinions in the article. It's a fact-based article. No opinions are given. And it's really current. I believe it was updated in 2020. So every time they find out something new or something new comes up, they can add it. It's a very current site, so you know that the information you're getting is going to be really accurate to the time. And the next site is an academic study from the National Center for Biotechnology Information, and this is also really reliable and valuable. It explains the rain barrel and its function, and it supports our other findings from the other articles we found, like the Climate Reality Project. There's no uncertainty in these two articles because of their reliability and their external links that show where they got the information in our primary sources, and does not affect the conclusion, or it supports our conclusion for this project because of the reliability of them.
Evaluation of design. Strengths. This design helps conserve water on a larger scale compared to regular rain barrels. It also helps for the saving of money in most situations. The design allows for a one-time cost that will pay itself back and requires almost no maintenance. Weaknesses and limitations. As rainwater flows over a roof surface, it can pick up pollutants such as bacteria from birds and other animals, and chemicals from roof materials. This design is complicated to install. There are regions with less rain that would not benefit from this design, and it lacks architectural value. Areas for improvement. Using the mollusk sand filtration tends to take a longer period of time. Finding a way to decrease the amount of time the filtration takes would be beneficial. Because rainwater lacks minerals in usual drinking water, it also can lack flavor. Some people might not find rainwater appealing to the taste. Extension. For an extension to this design project, we considered including a green rooftop idea. There would be a layer of water-absorbent moss, dirt, and then a solid particle filter on the roof that would then lead into our original idea. The extension helps the environment because the heat absorbed by a dark roof leads to a temperature increase. By substituting the roof for the moss, it not only contributes to oxygenation of the atmosphere, but also provides a non-dark color to combat the heat rise. This, combined with the self-sustaining water collection system, turns a house into a climate change combat system.